He was foreknown before the foundation of the world, but was made manifest in the last times, for the sake of you, who through him are believers in God, who raised him from the dead and gave him glory, so that your faith and hope are in God.
Yeah, no more complaining that we're not busy enough. Come. I heard back in the day it was, man, we don't do enough as a church. We have an events page on our webpage. It's pretty cool. I designed it. Check it out. It has all that stuff. Our t-shirts are going to be awesome. It's our logo, Midtown, I think, Midtown Church. The cross. But that cross beam keeps going across like a flat line, and then it picks up into a heartbeat. And on the back says, "Alive with Christ." Man, it's awesome. All right, so here we are, week 3. Hi. Good to see you. I mean, it's good to see all y'all. All y'all. That's so cool. Let me see. Hold on. There we go. Week 3. Hey, Steve, get me on a black background. Or Sarah, I'm sorry. Week 3 of holy. What does holy mean? What does it mean? What does the word holy mean? Anybody, come on. I pulled this one on. Set apart for a specific purpose. All right, we could set apart multiple things, but holy specifically means to be set apart for a specific purpose. For example, I brought up holy water a couple weeks ago. Right? Some churches have holy water. Bye. See how it is. I see our pool will be designated as holy water for that time of baptism, right? Set apart for a specific purpose. A lot of churches will have bowls of holy water, and you don't want to go up and wash your hands in it because you have destroyed the holiness, right? I mean, don't go in and make lemonade in the holy water, because it's no longer holy. What are some things in your life that are set apart for a specific purpose that once you use it for something else, you've destroyed that item? Let me give you one more example as you think. Because that's an open-ended question. I'm curious. A church shirt, guys, right? You have your church shirt, but the moment oil gets on it, it's no longer a church shirt. According to your wife, it's a work shirt. Set apart for a specific purpose. What do you have in your life that's set apart for a specific purpose that once it's used for something else, you violated that purpose? A water cup? Okay. Used for... I feel like you are talking indirectly to me about something I did. Yes. Do not put coffee in my cups. You will ruin them for life. What else? What comes to mind once you that you have set aside? Don't touch that mentality. Say what? Gas tank. Don't put water in your gas tank. A bath towel. You don't want people wiping up their oil messes with your bath towel. You don't want anyone using your bath towel. A toothbrush. See, so, in other words, so you all know what holy means. Just would never know that you set aside things in your life for specific purposes, that once you violate that purpose, it's no longer holy. You are holy. God has set you apart for a specific purpose. How holy do you feel today? I mean, how set apart do you feel? And that's a rhetorical question. I mean, how do you feel holy? Do you feel as if your life has meaning? Our culture's a wreck, in case you didn't know it. And it's on full display as we speak. Good people being destroyed for political purposes and movements that were meant to be good have been turned into, liberating one set of victims. And in order to do that, you've got to create another set of victims. Our culture's a wreck, but there's nothing new under the sun. All right, you don't lose heart. In fact, the stage has been made for you, and for your holiness and the holiness of God to be on full display. But why is our culture a wreck? Think about it for a moment. Why do we see forget not just political, just across the board, the circus of our society that's taking place? What's going on? It can be summed up in just a couple of thoughts. People are searching for meaning. In their search and their quest for meaning and purpose, they are searching for God. But the problem is, as they search for God, they're suppressing the truth about God, which is found within them. And you have an upside-down world, an upside-down value system. People end up worshiping themselves, their thoughts, their ideas. And it comes out in a world and a society full of hatred and bitterness towards one another. James made you very aware of this back in chapter 3. But you're not part of this. You shouldn't be a part of it. You shouldn't be sucked into it. You shouldn't lose hope. Because you know there's a better day ahead. You know there's a better day ahead. And it's not that the promise, it's not found in this society getting any better. I don't make any predictions on that. It's found in what has been laid out as your hope. You will be in heaven one day. You'll be in heaven one day. You see, you actually know this, maybe without knowing it. You know there's an afterlife. You know that there is a God. In fact, you're sitting in these seats is at least, at minimum, you are releasing the truth. You are no longer suppressing the truth about God, but you're setting it free in order to find the real truth. But let me ask you this question, right? Okay, so people are searching for meaning. We have a chaotic society, and it's just evolving to anyone and everyone doing what they think is right. I mean, it's at the end of Judges, right? I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. The end of Judges ends with, and everybody did what was right in their own eyes. How do you get there? I mean, what's right in your eyes? How does it, what's right in your eyes? I mean, how is it you're right and they're right, and yet you can stand against each other? See, in the search of meaning, in the search of purpose, we all hit this wall of resistance within us that we will not cross. For example, as you go out, why don't you just do whatever you want to do in life? I mean, if there is no afterlife, we just categorize life after death as afterlife for now, generically speaking. If there's no afterlife, why don't you go and do anything and everything that you want to do? Well, you might be right now. But why are you looking out for your neighbor? Why do you sacrifice any ounce of yourself if this is the only life you have? Why give of yourself? Why not take? I mean, why not rob a bank to become richer? Why not knock on your neighbor's door, not to be crude, but just to put it out there raw? Why not knock on your neighbor's door and say, hey, let me sleep with your spouse? I think they're hot. Why don't we do these things? What's preventing you from doing that? Somebody stamped morality in you. It didn't come from you. But see, what happens in society, and I'm getting to our Holy Week 3 here in a minute. What happens in society is once we transgress that line of morality that's been written upon our hearts, as Romans 2 and Romans 3 talks about, once you transgress that line, that line gets pushed back farther and farther to a point where Romans 1 says, you suppress the knowledge of God, and he just keeps letting you go further and further and further. But you're not going further and further and further. In fact, you're being what's called sanctified. You're being made new. You're actually reeling in the morality. Your desire to love one another is growing. You're actually starting to sacrifice more of yourself for the sake of your brothers and sisters. Why? Maybe not in your mind, but in your heart, you truly believe you'll be home one day. It's written upon your heart, and this is why you behave the way you behave. This is why you desire to love one another. Because God has given you the law of liberty, self-government. He has written it upon your heart, and you are governing yourself. Well, I can't say you're governing yourself. You're under the order and authority of God. What orders Him orders you. And so naturally speaking, logically speaking, one day you will be home with Him. But in a world devoid of God, there would be no right or wrong, because there'd be no one to set the standard. So here you are this morning. You haven't suppressed the truth. You're here. You're expressing that there is a God. And it is my hope, my goal, my desire to get you to go all in on that belief. To no longer sit on the fence of, I believe there's a God, but I'm not sure if He's going to come through on this one. I believe there's a God, but why has He abandoned me? I believe I will be home. Let's talk about hope. But I'm going to try to rescue this life as much as possible. I'm going to fight for what I have today. I believe there's a better day, but now is my better day. I want to get you to a place of faith and hope that will conquer every mountain you have to climb. And look, I don't need to sit with you to know you have mountains in front of you, to know that you're in the valleys, because I know what it's like. Some of you, if not all of you, are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. And you see the society, and the burden gets heavier and heavier. And I say this morning, you are a holy people. And I ask you, do you know that? Well, when the mountain's on your back, it's hard to know anything. Faith and hope. Faith and hope. You're not here in vain this morning. You're not here by mistake. You're not here because you had a role to fulfill. You're here because God wants you to grow closer to Him. You're here because the stage has been set for your holiness and His holiness, your glory and His glory to be on full display. The life and light of men is shining in you and through you. We need to prepare ourselves, prepare our minds for action. The world's watching. The world's watching. Therefore, preparing your minds for action and being sober-minded, we're backing up to verse 13, and I'm going to just rehash this stuff because the word holy is not something we talk about on a regular basis. At best, on Sundays. Prepare your minds for action. And if you get sucked into the political world, this is talking straight to you. Prepare your mind for action. Be sober-minded. Let's clean up our thinking so we can see clearly what the truth is. Set your hope fully on the grace that will be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. Set your hope not on anything found in this world, but on the grace, the favor, the love, the likeness, the fondness of God that will be revealed to you when Jesus Christ himself is revealed in the last days. Set your hope on that. Set your hope on the fact that you are loved. You will be home. It's going away. It's going away. Either you're going to die or you'll be caught up into the heavens with him. It will not stay the same. But it will be made new. And you'll see it one day. You'll see the power that's at work within you be manifested in a way that you can't even dream of. But Peter says, set your hope on it. As obedient children, do not be conformed to the passions of your former ignorance. This is what you're seeing happen in our society. People who just don't know better. They believe wrong is right and right is wrong. They don't know better. You can't blame them. But that's not you anymore. Do not be conformed to your old ways. Do not be conformed to your old passions, your old pursuit of life, your old pursuit of God. No more. You're set aside for a purpose. That purpose is to be the home and house of God. God made you to dwell with you. He made you to be with you. As he who called you is holy, you also be holy in your behavior. As he who called you is holy, you be holy in your conduct, in the way you act in this world. Treat yourself the way God sees you. That you are significant. That your meaning isn't to wake up in the morning and go punch the clock. Your meaning is not even to be mom or dad. Your meaning is to be alive with Christ. Your meaning is to bring life and light to men and to the women of this world because of who lives in you. Your meaning is a meaning of rescue because the rescuer lives within. You be holy in your conduct. You set your behavior aside as something very significant, very precious, that the moment it's violated, it's of no value. This is what the call to holiness is. It's a sacred call. Teens, your purity, your virginity is sacred. The moment that line's crossed, it's gone. Conduct yourselves in a manner that is just like your calling. It's written, you shall be holy. Why? Because he's holy. He's a part of you. You are his temple. If you call on him as Father who judges impartially according to each one's deeds, conduct yourselves with fear throughout the time of your exile. Conduct yourself, and I'm not going to spend the time to go over last week what I said last week, but that word fear, respect and honor for the price that was paid for your life. Conduct yourself, act in a way as if you cost the life of the Son of the Father, because you did. Remember the story I gave you at the end of last week? The manufactured home is set ablaze. 2 children were in there. Only 1 kid came out. The father next door saved you as he let his kid die. It's a picture of the gospel. It's not a full picture, but it's a picture of the cross. That child will honor and respect her life from that point on. She should be dead. But we were called out of the death of our sins back into life. Because we know we were ransomed. It cost from the futile ways inherited from our fathers and our forefathers and their forefathers and their forefathers. So I say you can't get into a mindset of blaming society for society's fault. We all are born into the mess. And to the wreck. It's hard to do, though. When you come to see the light and you're called into the truth and your life is getting cleaned up, not to start looking down on others because their life's a wreck. Just remember, you used to be there. In fact, a part of you's still there. You've just been saved from it. They're stuck. They need help. And that help needs to come in the form of love, respect. They need to find significance in a place that they've never thought to search. From their enemies, from their friends, from their neighbors. They're searching for it in themselves. It's going to lead them down a road that's going to end in a circus. You weren't bought with silver or money. You were bought with the blood of Christ. Peter says the precious blood of Christ. His blood did pour out a couple thousand years ago. It was a scene that was as real as you sitting here today. He was like a lamb without blemish or spot. As he hung on that cross, he had no reason to be on that cross except what the Old Testament said. He became your sin. He became all your wrongdoing. And so, though he hung like a lamb without spot or blemish, he hung with purpose. He was convicted for our transgressions. He was judged and he was condemned so we can live. So there you have it. Put your life in Christ. Believe in Him, right? I mean, the charge, the encouragement should be loud and clear. And you should rise up and say, I'm going all in. Except the mountain that sits before you or on top of you is not moving. And I thought He said He would cast that mountain into the sea. And as clear as day, the struggle upon your shoulders is as painful and as heavy as you've ever had to bear. What's going on? See, you're born with the capability of believing without doubting. When I was growing up, I remember my first time going to Disney. Me and my 4 brothers, we were told months in advance, Mom, Dad's taking us to Disney. I'll tell you something, the expectation, anticipation of Disney was awesome, man. For those next several months, I lived in the background of my mind with the idea of, I'm going to Disney. I'm going to get me a Mickey Mouse hat and eat a turkey leg and do the Dumbo Jumbo ride, and it's going to be awesome, man. I lived in the joy and excitement. It didn't matter what life brought. I was going to Disney. But if I was a skeptic, if I had a reason to doubt my mom or my dad, I may say, Mom, Dad, all right, I get you. We're going to Disney. Never seen Disney, though. How do I know it's really out there? How do I know I'm really going to Disney? Here's the tickets. Let me show you the price that was paid. Here's the tickets. Here's where it came out of our bank accounts. And Mom, Dad, all right, look, don't have really a reason to doubt you, but those are paper tickets. How do I know you didn't just print them up? Sounds kind of backwards, right? I mean, a kid does not do that, right? A kid doesn't have the knowledge to doubt their parents. Unless their parents pulled fast ones. I mean, that would just be cruel. But if you're a parent and you pull fast ones on your kids like that, I mean, you got problems, but your kids may be skeptical of you. But I wasn't skeptical. I believed my parents. Well, the moment they said we're going to Disney, I was there in my mind. And the day came and I got in the van 2 hours before we were supposed to leave, and I just sat and I waited. I was so excited. I didn't even say, are we leaving yet? We're leaving yet. I just waited, just patiently waited. And guess what? We went. We had a blast. This is what it's like to wait. This is what it should be like to wait for our homecoming, for our heavenly home. You were born with the ability to believe without doubting. But something snuck in. A couple lies here, a couple doubts about God here, a little bit of pain, a little bit of affliction, a little bit of relational problems, and all of a sudden, I don't know if God's really legit. You may not say it, but there's a part of you that's a little skeptical. That part has been crucified, it's been dealt with, but it's still there. If it wasn't, you would be like the very few I've met that are waiting in the van 2 hours before their departure, just excited. Nothing but good things to say to mom, to dad, to the people around them. So Peter is a realist. He wants to show you the ticket's been paid for. He wants to show you the cost of the ticket. He says it didn't cost money. It didn't cost gold. He said that's not good enough. It's not enough. He said it costs the blood of Jesus Christ. Now, just in case you forget, Peter saw Jesus alive. He saw him get arrested, and he saw him alive. He saw the death of Jesus Christ. And he saw him come alive. And he's saying, I saw the money taken out of the bank. It was paid. Your price was paid. Your ticket home is done. Well, he continues. He's a realist. He's not going to leave it there. He's got a few more words. Jesus was foreknown before the foundation of the world. This plan, get this plan was put into motion before sin ever came into the picture. This is how desperate God is to be with you. Sin wasn't a mistake. Sin didn't catch God off guard. God had a plan to conquer it all along. But he knew creating you would invite a playground for the devil. And he gave the devil a playground, a tree. And he told mankind, stay away from that tree. Nothing good comes from that tree. And we didn't. But no worries, because before that was put in motion, he was foreknown. That's this flesh and blood Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Walking upon the earth, that was foreknown, pre-planned before the foundation of the world. And then he was made manifest in the last times for the sake of you. He was revealed to Peter and the 500 others for your sake, so that there was witnesses to tell you, look, your belief is not in vain. What you believe in is not in vain. Through him, you are believers in God, who raised him from the dead and gave him glory, so that your faith and hope are in God. Faith and hope are in God. You see, you prove God exists because you sit here today and you believe in God. You prove that Jesus Christ came, died, and was resurrected because you're sitting here today and your presence makes a statement about your faith and hope. But some of you need power to that stuff. It doesn't carry you through. You got your mountain to climb. And what's rolling off this mountain is a waterfall that is sure to take you out. In fact, you ever been to the beach? I remember being at the beach when I was young, and you get caught in the wave, and you get tumbled and tumbled and tumbled, and you lose control, and you think to yourself, this is how I'm going to die. And then it spits you out, and you're like, I'll try it again. And you get sucked in again, and you tumble around, and you think to yourself, this is how I'm going to die. And it spits you out. You try it again, and you get, I remember those days getting just sucked in by the riptide, and the waves just plumbing me, and I'm thinking, I'm dead. This is it. I didn't get to know life, but oh well. And I'm here today to tell you I made it. And some of you, there you are, you're at the base of the mountain, and the waterfall just got you sucked in. You can't get out. You can't catch a breath. You feel as if nobody cares. Nobody's there to rescue you. You're all alone. And I guess this is how I'm going to die. That goes through your mind. This is the way life is. I give up. I give up. But there's a still quiet voice in the back of your mind that says, there's still something more. Son, daughter, there's something else. And you give up, but you can't give up. You go back at it and you continue the fight. But you're sucked back in. God must not like me. I must not be holy. He says I'm holy. The pastor says I'm holy. I'm probably not. Just zoom in. I found this picture about 8 months ago. Very inspiring. To me it is, at least. You zoom into the bottom of that waterfall, and you look at that picture. What's going on in this guy's mind? Tell me. What do you think he's thinking as he's getting ready to jump in? What a rush. Fun. Say that again? Can I do it? Am I strong enough? Did you? Ian, he's pretty ripped out, isn't he? You're like, man, if I was that strong and that hot, I'd probably be all right too. It's interesting, man. When I saw that picture, I thought to myself, man, sometimes I guess God casts the mountain in the sea, and other times He casts us into the mountain. And what are you going to do with it? You have no choice. Death, well, I'm going to beat a dead horse. Death awaits. You have that mountain to climb. You have that valley to walk through. And I don't know, maybe someone in here right now is staring at it and you just haven't said anything. You're in a van waiting to go to Disney, and you've lost all excitement. Something's not right. Something is broken. There's a disconnect. You see what I see in this picture? I see confidence. I see a man who has embraced the challenge of what's before him. So he went out and bought the $1.99 inner tube at Walmart and said, I might as well make the best of it. I see a man who's excited. To put it in biblical terms, I see a man who counts it all joy. I know you want to. I know these words ring true and they sound good and we long for them. But you're asking yourself, I want to get there. How do I get there? I'm going to tell you. And I'll be as practical and black and white as I can be here in a minute. But I want to set up the picture of where you need to be at. You need to be at a place that's full of peace, full of joy, full of gentleness, full of kindness, full of goodness, full of self-control. I see that in this picture. And that's cryptic to say you need to be at a place where you and God are fully united. And it's revealed in Galatians 5. You don't need to be at the list right before that, full of anger and full of hatred and full of sexuality. It's not a man with an inner tube. It's a man in confusion. He doesn't know what to do. How do you get there? How do you get there? Well, see, your belief is cracked with doubt because, let's be real, you don't see God. You don't see Him. You don't feel Him. You don't touch Him. Your faith is built upon things not seen, but the evidence of things not seen. I don't blame you. I'm with you in this. Your faith is cracked because the reality is your five senses are at work and there's no God to be beheld. You have to see Him with your new life. You have to see God with your new set of eyes and your new set of ears, and you've got to touch Him with your new set of hands. You have to see God through your new life, your Christian self. How is this possible? I'll give you two things to do. Me and God talked about this. I'm putting God on the spot. Because I'm telling you, you do these things, you're going to feel and see God. And I know there's danger in coming out and saying that, but there's only danger if you don't believe. If you doubt yourself, and if you doubt God, you're in a van going to Disney and you're still not excited. And you're going to be stuck there. You've got to ready your minds for actions and be sober in your thoughts. Get rid of the distractions. Two very simple things. I don't like it when people give me prayers to repeat and to say because I feel like somebody is speaking my words. I'm going to give you two prayers to speak. They embody very deep principles, very connected to your new life, built around faith and hope. Faith and hope. The only thing we're missing in this is love. We've been hounding on love for a long time. But you need faith and hope. And you need them to be unwavering. So when you pray these prayers, I expect you to see something. You can write them down. Because it may be an exercise at first. All right, you're looking at this guy. He's getting ready to jump in. He's getting ready to tackle his mountain. In the first prayer, I'm going to be okay because He loves me. I'm going to be okay, God, because You love me. This is faith. This is a picture of faith. Your prayer may be a little different. These are the training wheels to get your faith in a place where you know that God is real. I'm going to be okay because You love me, God. Whatever the struggle, whatever the situation, whatever the mountain, whatever the problem, these need to be words that roll off your tongue. These will prepare your mind for action and keep you sober in your thoughts. I'm going to be okay because You love me, even though I just sinned for the 12th time in the same thing today. I'm going to be okay because You love me, even though I have cancer. I'm going to be okay because You love me, even though I'm going through a divorce. You're going to be okay because You love me, even though I can't pay the bills tomorrow. You're going to be okay. You are okay. The question is, do you know you're okay? And you're okay because He does love you. This is why you're okay. The second prayer is a prayer of hope. We get to look beyond the mountain. I can't wait to see You, God. You're getting yourself beyond the circumstance of today and tomorrow into a place where the circumstances are taken care of forever. Where every tear has been wiped away. There's no more death. There's no more pain. I can't wait to see You. I'm going to be okay because You love me, man, and I can't wait to see You. And then, here's what I expect to happen. And I'm just a testimony to it. I expect peace to enter in. I expect an assurance that you haven't felt in a while to begin to calm your mind and your heart. I expect a little bit of joy will begin to percolate, and maybe a smile will come out A smile that hasn't been seen in weeks or months. And there you've tapped into God. There he is. The fruit of the Spirit is proof of the power of God in you. I believe you'll see it. I really do. You may not believe it, but that's okay. I believe what God says. I believe he has never forsaken you. He will never leave you. I believe that the embodiment of the Spirit in his life in you is peace. It is joy. I believe that when Peter says, or James says, count it all joy when you face all your mountains, that's possible. I believe you can see God in you. Your circumstance, your mountain may never be lifted off your back. But you know you'll be okay, even though you don't feel okay, because he loves you. And now you're looking beyond. Can't wait to go home. You're here as long as he needs you here, but you can't wait to go home. And in the end, become like this man. Fine, let it rain. Let the mountain come on top. I'm crushed, but I'm not defeated. That's a picture of our new life. At the foot of the mountain that you have been fighting for days, weeks, months, years, maybe your whole life. You have conquered it through faith and hope. And the beauty is our culture has made a perfect stage for you to reveal the glory and the significance of God in your life. You may begin to rescue those who are standing at a shore without an inner tube, thinking, life's over. I give up. God may use you to jump in after them. It's your $1.99 Walmart inner tube and all your smiles. He said, we got this together. Let's pray. Father,